Hello everyone. In this session, we want to take a look at registration of service records, moving domain controllers between sites, and Active Directory and sysvol replication between sites. We're going to start by looking at registration of service records. Service records, also known as locator records, are a special type of DNS record that allows clients to locate resources using DNS queries. Every domain controller in a Windows Server domain, whether it be a 2012 or 2012 R2 domain, has a separate Kerberos record and LDAP record. LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. The LDAP service record is used to map the name of a service. In this case, we're talking about the LDAP service. So we're going to map the name of that service to the DNS computer name of a server that offers that particular service. Now, in Windows Network, the LDAP resource record is a record that will locate a domain controller. Let's take a look at these records. And we can see here that the records will give us some information. It will give us the name of the service. It will give us the protocol used by the service. It will give us the port number the service uses, and also the weight, which allows you to preference one record over the other. We're going to take a look at these service records. So we want to click on Tools, DNS. And within the DNS console, we want to expand the forward lookup zone. And then we want to expand the msdcs.adatom zone. This subdomain, the sdcs.adatom.com, hosts the domain controller locator DNS resource records for all the domain controllers in Active Directory. It is also used to locate domain controllers that have specific roles in the Active Directory domain or in the Active Directory forest. So we're going to expand. And we see here that we have DC, another subdomain. And this DC domain contains two other subdomains called sites and TCP. So we're going to expand the DC domain. And see here we have sites and TCP. Now, when a client is querying DNS for a domain controller, if that client does not know what site it belongs to, it will request a LDAP service record from the tcp.dc msdcs domain zone. So we're going to expand that TCP. And here you can see we have the two service records. We're going to right click on the LDAP service location record here. And we're going to click on properties. And we can see here on the service location service property window, you can see the name of the domain. You can see the name of the service. You can also see the protocol, the priority, and the weight. Also shows you the host offering this service. The weight allows you to preference one record over another. You can see here that the default is 100. And you have the priority, which allows you to configure service priority for services that support this functionality. Each domain controller's net logon service re-registers its service record every 60 minutes. But you can trigger manual service record registration simply by restarting the net logon service. Let's take a look to see how we would restart the net logon service. The net logon service runs by default in the background, but we can restart that service. So we're going to click on Tools and Services. And we're going to scroll down to find the net logon service. Here we have it. You click on net logon. And let us look a bit at some of the description. Maintains a secure channel between the computer and the domain controller for authenticating users and services. If this service is stopped, the computer may not authenticate users and services, and the domain controller cannot register DNS records. So that's important. If the service is stopped, the domain controller cannot register DNS records. So to restart the net logon service, all we have to do is to click on Restart the Service. Now we see that Windows is attempting to start the service on the local computer, and the service is restarted. We now want to turn our attention to moving servers between sites using the Active Directory Sites tool. So we're going to click on Tools. We're going to select Active Directory Sites and Services. And what we want to do is to move a server from Corporate HQ site to the Portsmouth site. So we're going to expand Corporate HQ. We're going to double click on the server object within Corporate HQ. You can see that we have a server called London DC1, which we want to move to the Portsmouth site. So we want to right click on London DC1, select Move, and we're going to choose to move that server to Portsmouth. So we're going to click on Portsmouth and select OK. Now let's take a look to see if we actually made the move. So we're going to double click on Portsmouth to open up Portsmouth. We're going to open up the server container. You can see that London DC1 is now in Portsmouth in the server container. And let's go back to Corporate HQ to see if that server has disappeared. So we're going to double click on Corporate HQ. We're going to open up the server container in Corporate HQ, and we see that that server is no longer there. So you see it's a very simple process of moving servers, objects between sites using the Active Directory Sites and Services tool. In our next session, we will continue by looking at Active Directory and sysvol replication. This is the end of our session, and I want to thank you for listening.